All right, welcome back to Agent Content Creators. My guest today is somebody that I absolutely adore. It's somebody whose YouTube channel I follow pretty much every time he puts out a video. I watch it, not because I'm copying his content, just because his videos are that freaking good. My guest today is Jason Walter out of Sacramento. What we're going to do today is ask him how he comes up with his content. What's his process look like? Does he pay for an editor? All that fun stuff. So I'd like to welcome onto the channel Jason Walter out of Sacramento. Welcome on, Jason.
Jeremy, you're too kind. Thank you so much for having me. I'm really looking forward to this.
Yeah, man. So if anybody doesn't know anything about you, why don't you tell them just kind of the basics of who is Jason and what you're doing?
Yeah, I like long walks on the beach. No, just kidding. I've been a real estate agent in Sacramento, California for I think coming on 9 years now. Before that, I was a CPA, worked as a CPA for like 6 years. And yeah, I basically work with families and investors in the greater Sacramento area. Have a YouTube channel, which drives a lot of traffic for my business.
Sorry, adding this. Sorry. There we go. Perfect. Okay. So let's talk about your YouTube channel. You've had this for about how long?
Yeah, I started the channel in October 12th of 2019. So let me just give you like a brief background regarding that. So I started my business. I was working with basically all investors early on. And then it started working with families. And I was trying to figure out like how the heck am I going to try to find people looking to buy and sell real estate in the greater Sacramento area. And then in early 2019, I really came up with this idea that, hey, I can probably, start a YouTube channel and to showcase what it's like to live in my area. And so it really took me probably like 9 months to summon the courage to actually post my first video because I have never posted a video myself except for like a short Instagram story, maybe a couple of times. Never edited a video in my entire life. So, in any case, I basically started the channel to basically showcase originally what it's like to live in the greater Sacramento area, the pros and cons, kind of like what you do for the Austin market. And I just figured that the people like probably want to hear what I have to say because I lived here for like 35 years rather than reading a blog from someone who just visited Sacramento for the weekend. And so I basically share everything related to Sacramento and the greater Sacramento area. And so I basically did that from October to March of 2000, October 2019 to March of the following year. And we had the stay-at-home orders, and that just changed up my channel because I couldn't meet clients face to face here in California, and so I changed up the channel. And then basically now I'm talking about housing market as a whole in the state of California, but also nationwide as well, talking about forbearances, how to refi, everything related to the real estate market in general.
Yeah, that's pretty impressive. So, a lot of people give me credit for my channel because it's so niche down for my market and I see a lot of business out of it. But what you've done is take it to a national level, which means that your channel, my channel is about 10,000 ish subscribers. I talk about
It's
more
impressive.
local. Thank you.
It
But
really is.
you're hitting almost 40,000 subscribers right now. You get a huge community of people that love your content. And obviously, you probably see a little bit of business out of that, but you also do, referrals. I'm sure agents look at you and they think of Sacramento. I'm sure people reach out to you and you send out referrals. I know you have a little banner on your channel. Do you see a lot of referrals that you send out from that?
Yeah. So, believe it or not, people reach out and say, "Hey, I'm interested in buying and selling a house in X, Y, and Z
Mhm.
state or city." But I partnered with a company. If you heard of Boomtown, it's like
Mhm.
a kind of sister company called Home and Money, and so they reached out to me maybe about 6 months ago or something like that, and they basically developed a landing page for me. And so when I'm telling people on my videos, and I do this every once in a while. And I say, hey, if you're looking for a real estate agent referral, then go to homeandmoney.com/Jason. And so when people go to that website, they enter their information about what they're looking for in a house, whether they're looking to buy or sell a house from virtually anywhere in the U.S. And so I can't talk about like the specifics of like
Sure.
our obviously, but it drives traffic, and then it's a form of revenue for myself.
So this is something I think is really interesting is with YouTube. Obviously, you have the money that you get that comes through. I mean, it's, it's probably not a lot that comes through just videos, right? But there's more avenues you can actually create on with YouTube, right? So like Christina Smallhorns has tons of different ad revenues just from there. You have home and money and other things. But I think and when I was talking to Glenda Baker, who does TikTok, she's basically an influencer now from TikTok and has all these different QR codes and click codes and all this stuff.
Mm,
We're showing multiple sources of income. And I think that's what people don't understand about YouTube. They think, oh, I need to niche down so much and talk just about my market, when you can go broad like your channel, put out freaking great content, and it'll
thank you.
do virtually the same thing.
Yeah, I think there's a couple of different. I mean, thanks for that. I think there's a couple of different avenues that if someone's thinking about starting a YouTube channel, I think you basically can start in real estate. In my opinion, you can make a channel all about what it's like to live in the area that you sell houses, right? A lot of people are going to want to or be interested in learning about that, especially if they're looking to relocate there. That's kind of like what your channel does, and then my channel originally as well. And so you can have a channel like all about living in your area, and you can get probably a lot of leads from that, I would imagine, depending on where you live, obviously. Or you can take another avenue, such as like Christina Smallhorn, for example, where she's posting housing market topics that are related for the entire nation, right? What's it like to buy an affordable house? How do you buy a manufactured home or whatever? And then, so there, and that's like more of like, I would call it like the creator route, where you're more of like a YouTube creator. You're generating ad revenue, multiple revenue sources like affiliate marketing, memberships, even do paid promotions as well, and then getting referral business, and then not selling houses really, or selling very few. And so my original intention was to be, all about Sacramento, and then basically my only income source would be basically selling houses. And so now it's kind of taken a change from that. So I have like multiple streams of revenue from YouTube that I've created. And I have a buyer's agent we were talking about before we started, who works a lot with my home buyers and does an amazing job. Where I don't have the time in order to do that,
Right.
because I wouldn't be able to post as many videos. And so what basically now is I'm posting videos, and then I'm just giving people my honest opinion about what I feel the market's doing. And then, people do reach out, whether looking in, anywhere in the United States versus, Sacramento as well.
Yeah, that's really impressive. I think some of these people that come reach out to me and they go, "Hey, Jeremy, I want to be a channel like your channel, but I'm in a small market, so I'm not going to get business from it." Well, the reality is that you can be in a big market, small market, but you can do different things. YouTube's not about just talking about a specific niche market. You could do a lot of different things, and that's what I love about your channel. So it started off as something about your market, and then you said, you know what, let me pivot and do something that's a little more fun to talk about, where you break down numbers for, I mean, you look at all the nerd stuff that I don't have time to, and then I go, oh my gosh, why didn't I think of that? And so I make I make better videos because of you, so thank you for that.
Thanks. I appreciate that, Jeremy. I think it comes from like my CPA background. I'm super analytical, and I think that probably throws some people off who are not as analytical as I
Yeah,
am. But I mean, it's a good outlet for me to be analytical, analyze numbers, which I did when I was a CPA, and I didn't really do so much of that when I was a real estate agent.
I find sometimes I have to watch your videos at slower. Sometimes like my videos, people
Mm,
have to watch on fast. I have to watch yours on slower because what I love about your channel is it's information, 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 information. And if
mm.
you don't slow it down, you'll miss out. There's so many times when I'm listening in the background. I actually have to go back and watch
Oh, really?
again and
Okay.
open up. So all the replays are me watching it again. Um, so
I probably
so let,
talk too quick. Drinking too much Graham Stephan coffee here.
Yeah, no, you're good. You're good. So let me ask you this, and this is one of the most important questions I get is how do you come up with your content, right? A lot of realtors,
Mm.
when they're trying to figure out what to do, they just don't know what content to do. So what's the sources and how do you come up with your content? I mean, you
Yeah,
put
it's
out
such
what,
a good.
5 videos a week now?
Yeah, I kind of took a hiatus in November with traveling and then the holidays, but December I'm gonna be cranking out as many videos as possible because there's a lot of content out there that I can create, and also the ad revenue tends to be a little higher in December,
Good.
and that fluffs off in January. So how do I create content? That's like the money question right there. So a number of different sources basically. So I basically have like 40 websites that I save that I look on a daily basis to see if there's anything I really want to discuss that I think that my audience would enjoy watching or get value from. And so basically every day I look on like Google Trends to see if there's anything trending in the housing market sector or real estate market, such as like eviction moratoriums ending, something like that that big happened. And most of the time, there's nothing that happens in the housing market that's in like the top 10 for trending topics or trending searches on Google. But I also go and search for housing market on Google Trends as well. And it shows you if there's any trending search topics. So let me give you an example. So I found out by doing that that there was a huge increase in people looking to or searching for housing market predictions for 2022. So I saw that, okay, and I knew like my audience wanted to see that video. I actually pulled people a couple of months ago, and so I basically made my own real estate market predictions for 2022, which is very unlike my channel because I don't speculate on the channel at all. I basically just deliver the data we have in hand. So that video actually did very well. It was like number one out of the last my 10 videos. So Google ranks your videos out of the last 10 videos. And so because of that, I thought, okay, well, gosh, there's probably a high demand for this type of content. So I'm going to see what Zillow has to say. So I made a video about that. That video outperformed my previous video. Then I did a video about Redfin, and then I did a video about Realtor.com, and I just posted today my reaction to my housing market forecast from 1 year ago. And so I basically made all these videos because they were doing really, really well. And I think I kind of killed that. I did as many videos as I probably could.
Yeah.
But so it kind of gives you an idea about what my train of thought. So that's like one avenue. Then I go to all the websites, Redfin, Realtor.com, the National Association of Realtors, California Association of Realtors, a whole bunch of websites all related to the housing market. Look at housingwire.com, CNBC for the real estate news, any other websites that basically report on the housing market to see if there's any trending topics or anything that big that was announced recently. And so then I make basically, after looking at that, I basically formulate what I want to talk about, and then I basically write a script for it.
Okay. So basically you're constantly doing research, which is awesome. So you're constantly looking at what's going on. So once you take that content and you write out your script, do you read off of your script or do you just kind of have bullet points of what you want to talk about?
Kind of a mix of both. I don't read it like verbatim, but it's pretty close. So because I found like myself, I just can talk in circles, and I'm
Yeah.
not very good at like just talking about like the whole market because I feel like I would like or talking about the whole video. I think I'd miss parts that I really want to talk about. And so my channel like very analytical, kind of diving into the numbers and such. And so it'd be very challenging for the videos that I create to just do them like with bullet points. And so I basically create like a whole script, and then I don't necessarily follow it completely, but it's very close.
See, what I'll do is I kind of do the same thing. Sometimes I'll write out a full script. Sometimes I'll bullet point and think about those things. And then what I'll do is I'll go through and I'll just film my whole video, like kind of one conversation. At the end, I'll look back and see what bullet points am. And if there's a point I miss, I'm like, oh, and then I just start talking to the camera like I was. And so when you edit it, it looks like I'm having one solid conversation. You throw a piece of B-roll over the top and you're good to go.
I see
So
it. Good, smart.
yeah, so that's the trick that I've learned because I don't want to be too scripted. And I feel like sometimes on your videos, you can tell you're scripted, but like information you're delivering is so powerful, like it doesn't matter. Right. And that's
Thank you for
sometimes
that.
I just don't want to read off a script because I become too robotic when that
Yeah, for
happens.
sure. That is definitely the downside to it. And there's like times where I'm like, stumbling over my words or whatever. And it doesn't sound very
Yeah.
natural.
Yeah.
And so, yeah, I want to, that's why I kind of like mixing up with these collaborations on the channel. And then I did my first reaction video. So if there's like an interest in that, maybe I'll do that as well. Kind of mix it up a bit.
Yeah. I'm curious to see my reaction to 2021 housing market. Here, let me add it. I'm, oh, that's add to stream. There we go. I'm curious to see this 2021 20 video because I think this would be a good one that I could do. And sometimes I draw inspiration from other people, right? Because like I wouldn't even have thought to talk about that. So I'm curious to see how that one turns out for you. One thing that agents always ask me about is how to do thumbnails. How do you edit? So do you have a process for editing or do you hire that out? And what does that look like?
Yeah, super good question. So anyone looking to, start a YouTube channel who doesn't have a lot of time, want to leverage your time, hire an editor. That's the best thing I ever did. I basically started I basically edited, I think maybe the first 5 videos. Now I have like 297 videos now. So the vast majority are done with an editor. I hired one editor who was working on like an hourly basis. And I found that, videos that were shorter, he was saying that it took him longer to do. And so I didn't really think that he was being honest with me regarding that. So it didn't work out. But then the editor I hired after that, I've had him for, over a year, probably since the end of 2019, really. And he's been great. So I found him through onlinejobs.ph. So it's basically like a Craigslist website for people who live in the Philippines. So the challenge there is that we have like a time difference. I can't remember how long it is. It's long. It's a big difference. But he can crank out my videos. Like I'll send him the usually. Let me talk about my day. So like wake up in the morning, I figure out, okay, what do I want to make a topic about? I formulate the topic and write the script more or less, and then I shoot the video and I send it to him. I usually get sent to him like in the afternoon hours, and then he'll send it back to me by 7 to like 10 o'clock at night. I'll look at it and then I'll upload it to be uploaded the following morning. So anyone who's like hasn't started a channel or already does have a channel, I would look at how much are you paying yourself,
Yeah.
dollars per hour, right? If you're making whatever $100,000 per year, figure out how many hours you actually work per year, and figure out how much you're charging yourself to in order to make your own videos or edit your own videos. And so chances are your dollar per hour is going to be a lot higher than what you could pay someone to do it.
Yeah, I moved to using an editor. I did it. Man, I was like in the middle of burnout trying to sell homes and edit. I
Yeah.
mean, like my Sunday mornings were spent all Sunday. Now I have time back with my family because I have an editor, but I don't put out 5 videos a week. I do one
Mhm.
solid video. We do our live stream and then two clips, 1 to 2 clips on Sundays. But my clips are not getting the views, so maybe I might have to wrangle that back and like put them out Fridays. But
What's clips?
um,
You mean like shorts or what do you mean?
yeah, so if we do a live stream on Real Migos, I'll put
All
out
right.
a clip of it later in the
Mm,
week.
got it.
So your thumbnails, do you create your thumbnails or do you have somebody do that
Oh
for
yeah.
you?
Yeah, thanks for asking. So again, like I have like no graphic design experience, no like making videos, no editing experience whatsoever. So going back to the editing part, it would take me like 3 hours, 4 hours to edit my own videos, which is a complete waste of time. Same with my thumbnails. Never used Photoshop before, and I basically went on to Fiverr, and someone was making my thumbnails. So I think for like $10 or $5 per thumbnail, something like that. And I was thinking, gosh, this is going to add up, pretty quickly if I'm posting a lot of videos. And so I basically paid him to do is basically to make me a template, like 5 different templates. I would have no idea how to make like these thumbnails on my own. But I have like 5 templates, and then basically have expanded from that. I had some pictures that I definitely need to take some more pictures of myself because as you can see here, a lot of the pictures of myself are basically the same photo that I
Yeah.
took like a
I,
year over a
I've
year
started
ago.
doing that too, just to save time. I'm like, oh, look, there's me making a dumb face. I'm going to use this one again.
Yeah. So I basically, took pictures of myself like a long time ago, and then I went to an online. You can easily remove the background, so you remove the background, and then you can basically change up all the photos. And so my thumbnails, I do all myself. So the only thing that I outsource is my video editing. I do everything else myself.
Nice.
But I can crank out those thumbnails fairly quickly. But I would basically tell to anyone who's watching the video who either has a YouTube channel or is thinking about it, it is absolutely entirely crucial to make very clickable thumbnails and titles.
Yes.
That is so important because if I just made a video about and just said housing market, and I was like, then no one's going to click on that. If I said, I don't know, like a slowdown or housing crash or something like that, then obviously people are going to click on it. So I can see here, like giving up, Q&A. Those are my live streams. But I try to create like some like clickable thumbnails that people are actually like, you envision people looking at a feed, all these videos about the housing market. You need to create something that stands out. And so I try to do that. I know Christina hates my thumbnails,
I
but in my opinion, I think it's if someone sees it and seen my previous videos, they know what they're going to be getting because I basically use the same color font and the style the exactly the same in all my videos.
Yeah.
So it's entirely important because you can spend hours and hours making a video that's awesome, but if you have a totally crappy thumbnail and like a title that's absolutely horrible, no one's going to click on it. Complete waste of time. And
Right.
I've seen it over and over again. Your thumbnails, by the way, are really good.
Thank you. Appreciate that. It takes a lot of work. It's a lot of sending Christina emails like, "Hey, is this work?" So I'm one of those people that hates text on thumbnails. And so when people
Mhm.
ask me like, or when people do text on thumbnails and they reach out to me and I say, hey, look, I hate text. Your thumbnails look like garbage because it's nothing but word vomit. If you're going to do text on thumbnails, go over and I show everybody, go look at Jason's channel. Look how Jason, like, it's super simple. It's 2 words, 1 word. It's a concerned looking face. It's a creative, like, color in the background. Like, your thumbnails are done so well and with very little training. My that's pretty impressive. I spent hours trying to figure that crap out, but I like that you keep it very simple in the thumbnail. It's readable. I think that's one of the problems. People don't,
Yes.
make their the words actual legible. Like, you can't read them, and it's bold. Everything's bold, and when I see it, I know it's yours. Just like when I see Graham Stephan's face, I know it's Graham Stephan. When I see Mr. Beast, I know it's Mr. Beast. When I see Christina, oh wait, she doesn't always put her face on there, but I know what to expect and I know the style. And I think that's important. So, what are some of the really key mistakes that you made along the way that you would caution other agents to not make?
Yeah, I kind of like want to pivot on what you just said too.
Okay.
You're spot on regarding like the text in a thumbnail. I mean, how many times are you scrolling on YouTube and you see a whole bunch of words and you barely can read it because you envision people on their phones. There's whatever 5 or 6 thumbnails that they see, and the text can be very very small. So if you create text that's so small that people can't really read it, they're going to keep on moving on. So I would advise either no text or very little amount of words because people don't need to actually read it. So I would kind of say that. But sorry, your question was the mistakes I made along the way.
Yeah.
Uh,
What are some mistakes that you've made that you think that you learn from and that agents should not make those same mistakes?
Yeah, so I would say early on, like day one, I probably should have just hired a video editor. I mean, I can't tell you like all the videos I've watched to try to figure out, okay, what kind of like video editing software do I need to get? And like, okay, well, I'm going to choose this one. Like, how do you even work it? It literally like was so aggravating. It took me hours and hours and hours. Yet I didn't realize that you can pay someone to do it for you and just leverage your time so you can create more videos. Like, I think that people really need to envision themselves, okay, well, you are the content creator, whether you're talking about your current market in your area, what it's like to live there, or what's going on in the housing market. And so don't waste your time on doing, like, I would call that more like admin stuff. And so
Right.
um the mistake I made was probably trying to figure out video editing on myself on my own, where I had never edited a video in my entire life. I had no, I shouldn't have been editing videos. Like my first videos were absolutely horrible, and I talk like a robot even more back then than I do now. So yeah, the going back, I would have hired a video editor right away. And besides that, I mean, I think one thing I did too, I didn't put my cell phone number anywhere, so I basically created a Google Voice telephone number. I didn't know where my channel was going to go, but if I was envisioning like, okay, well, if I'm gonna get like 1 million subscribers or something, I probably don't want my
Yep.
cell phone number on all my videos. So another tip I would have, which I did do, but I would create like a Google Voice number so you can change it out or cancel it if you want to down the road.
And it's
Better have
frustrating.
someone
I have
else
people
talk
that
to it.
call me like, "Hey, I'm thinking about buying this house with this builder, yada yada yada." And I'm like, "Okay, well, are you wanting me to help you with this?" No, no, I just want to know if it's a good deal. What? Like, you're wasting my time at 10 o'clock on a Sunday for this call? Like,
Yeah.
y-
It
yeah,
it happens to all of us. The first one, I got so excited when my first person who reached out. And I don't know if this is the first one, but early on, maybe like in early 2020, they reached out and they were coming from Canada. I'm like, oh my gosh! I was telling my wife, like, this guy just contacted me. He's found me on YouTube, like, and he's moving from Canada. And so I actually met with him. We're talking about different neighborhoods in the greater Sacramento area. You had a bunch of questions and such. And they said, okay, yeah, thank you so much. But I didn't bother, like, then like he didn't, I never heard from him after that. And so then he forwarded me an email while we were talking. I look at it when we were talking. I looked at the email and it was like an email from like a real estate agent he was already like talking to. I was like, this guy just like completely just wasted my time just to basically to, pick my brain about what it's like to live here basically.
yeah.
And so that was a complete waste of time.
Yeah, yeah. So, yeah, save yourself those headaches. Work with people that want to work with you. That's a great part about YouTube is when people do want to work with you, like they'll listen. So, okay,
One
one other
thing too I
question.
want to add about that too is that what I found very interesting with YouTube is that You basically are your viewers are kind of like a similar mindset to you. So I find that the people that do reach out to me are very similar to me. They might be very analytical people, but and the beauty too is that they'll call you and say, "Hey, I want you to represent me." It's not like they call you and say,
Right.
"Hey, I'm interviewing agents. Saw you online. Just want to see what you have to say." It's more of like, "Hey, I want to buy a house. Can you help me?" And the
Right.
people I work with, like the vast majority of them, are super cool. And they're all people that I would consider I would be friends with too. And so it's just really a cool dynamic. And I think that through video, you really can show your personality, and then you basically can build trust that way too, obviously. And so that's why YouTube is such a great platform for all this, as you know.
So to the point you're making, I think the biggest mistake I see realtors make on YouTube is they're always selling. Hi, I'm Jason Walter from Sacramento. If you're looking to buy a home in the Sacramento area, I'd love to help you. Call me. I help with like people go into I see agents do that for the first 30 seconds of their video, and I'm already annoyed. I'm out. Like I don't even want to like pay attention to the rest of the video. Do you agree with that sentiment, or do you think people should have or agents should have hooks in their video?
You definitely should have hooks in your video. I'm guilty of that sometimes too, where I basically talk about, like, do my intro wherever whatever I'm doing, some sort of call to action kind of early in the video. But it's what's super important though, within the first 30 seconds, you really have to hook your viewers, right?
Yeah,
Basically tell them something. So if the worst thing you can do is say, "Hey, I'm Jason," like start the video by, "Hey, I'm Jason Walter. I'm Sacramento. If you want to buy, sell a house," and blah 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 blah.
yeah,
Like
people are
people
out.
will click off. And so people is click on your video to get value, and that's a number one thing really. If you're creating videos, you want to create videos that people are really going to get some value out of. And you're not going to be getting people are not going to get value out of the videos if you're talking about yourself and how great you are for the first minute of the video.
And I think it's really important. And to go back to the statement about your personality, I think some people are super brash, right? So they come off just super brash on video, and they're like very opinionated or whatever. I feel like doing that and being honest with people goes way further for you than if you're trying to sell stuff. People, you get those comments on your channel where people are like, oh, you're just a realtor trying to make money off people. You're here to
Yeah.
make money.
Yeah.
But the reality is, what I like about your channel, what I like about my channel and other channels is we come across with honesty, we give facts, information, and there's no sales pitches, right? There's no, hey, call me to go buy a home now that I give you this information.
For sure. Yeah. I can't remember the last time I said, "Hey, if you're looking to buy and sell a house in Sacramento, reach out to me." I literally never say that. Yet still people contact me somehow. So yeah, I don't do my call to actions is never contact me if you're looking to buy and sell a house in Sacramento, because the reason why I did that, because I don't want to come off as like a salesman or trying to push Sacramento on people. My channel is really all about taking a step back. Here's the data we have in hand right here, right now, and this is straight from the sources. And basically, you can make a more informed decision about whether you should buy or sell a house. And
Right.
so I don't want to come across as like I'm a real estate agent looking to sell more houses in Sacramento. And so I honestly just make videos about what I feel is going on in the housing market, and then people reach out to me anyways. So I don't know. I think it's probably have to have a mixed bag. So if you have a channel all about living in your area, I think you probably have to have some. You might want to have some call to action every once in a while. And my call to action when I talk about Sacramento, when I used to do it, was like, "Hey, check out check out the link up here. It's like my playlist all about what it's like to live in Sacramento." Not like, "Hey, call me, email me if you want to buy or sell a house." It's more like, check out more videos I've made about what it's like to live in Sacramento. And that in that video, I can send them to a landing page or whatnot. I basically gonna add something too, because I think there was a question you have about, creators and people, mistakes that people make,
Yeah.
because I see people who like make videos and they just stop.
Yeah.
So maybe I
Yeah. So
can talk
what
about
so
that.
what are some other mistakes you see creators making?
Yeah, I personally see people or agents who create YouTube channels and they post a video maybe twice a week, and they don't post a video for like 2 months, and they post a video and then they wait another month. You're not going to get any traction at all. So I forgot to talk about this, but when I made my channel, I wanted to create like a schedule. And so I want to that was like to hold myself accountable, but also to make sure I get the content out there. So I posted a video every Tuesday and Thursday every single week. Sometimes it was Friday, so Tuesday and Friday, so at least twice a week. And so I the reason I made the way I made this accountable to myself is I posted it on my banner at the time, and it said new videos every Tuesday and Thursday. So I was like, okay, well, I'm telling my audience you're gonna expect a video from me every Tuesday and Thursday, so I better deliver
Nice.
on that. So I would say that is super crucial, because if you do infrequently, you're not. It's going to take a long time to get a call from a buyer or seller. And so I would say, post consistently, and YouTube loves that as well because they want to see you creating content on a regular basis and not just kind of chiming in when you have time. And that's kind of like the typical thing that realtors do, right? You get so busy, you stop marketing,
Yep.
and then you're super dead. You have no time, you don't have no clients, and then you market again. You kind of like this roller coaster. And so I advise people post on a consistent basis. It doesn't have to be 5 times a week. It can be once per week, but just stay consistent. That is super, super important.
Thank you so much for watching this video of agent content creators. Make sure you subscribe, watch one of these two videos. If you have questions for Jason, definitely reach out and look at his channel. He's got some amazing content out there. We'll catch you on the next video.